It was really very painful, at least to me, when Ruth Odinga started talking about her sister. This is a lady who is talking about her sister. She'd even reached a place where she said she's finding it hard to say that her sister Beryl is gone. And as she was talking in praise of her sister Beryl, people started cheering. People started cheering. Personally, I thought they were cheering on the good times that the two sisters had. You see, there is a certain affection that is unique. It is very hard to define them. For example, a sister is dead, her sister talking about how they grew up together. Another example is a brother is dead, another brother is talking on how they grew up together. It is quite emotional. And as Ruth was talking about her sister, suddenly people started cheering. I thought maybe they were cheering uh, in what in funerals we call celebration of life. You see, when Ruth talks of how they had the good times with the sister, and the people start cheering, to me that is what we call celebration of life. But suddenly, the newly minted MP for Kasipul, Boyd Were, came, and the whole thing was lost. And there was Ruth Odinga talking of it is not fair. Sincerely, it is not fair. It is not fair. To me, when somebody is dead, that's it. Gone. Story end. But to me, what is important is the person or people that the dead person has. Actually, it's not just giving somebody a befitting farewell. Personally, I think it is being there for the person who has lost his or her dear one. Just being there with the person, making sure that person is going through, and also making sure that you give all the attention to the person who is bereaved. At least that is what I was taught when I attended my inspector's course. That somebody who has lost his or her relative, you have to be very courteous to the person who has lost. But the young man came, and from the vehicle all the way to where he sat, it was really bad. And we can say, and I can say, of all people, you see, he just buried his father the other day. Of all the people, he's the one who is supposed to be very understanding to those who are bereaved. Before I continue with what happened today, allow me to talk about an incident that happened 35 years ago. The incident that happened 35 years ago. Or are they incidences? What Raila used to do, that was during the Ford days, especially during the days of Ford Kenya, especially after Ford had been divided into two. This is where people don't understand, and I want to give you the correct picture of what things used to happen. In a public meeting, any public meeting, the person who is assumed to be the most important person is usually both the last, usually the last, both in arrival and also giving speeches. And when such a person whom we consider the very most important person there, what happens is that he or she is heard in total silence. He or she is heard in total silence, giving him or her due respect. But what Raila would do is he would arrive at the time when the father was talking, and the father had a shrill voice. So he'd say, "Oh, ma, what you are doing?" So he would even come and drown the topic of the father. A lot of people have assumed, have shown that, have expressed that maybe that is why Raila never got the big seat. This young boy called Boyd, I don't know whether even those people who are shouting and whatever even knew that he existed on such a day like today last year. They didn't know. Now, this thing about it is very much practical among lawyers, but much, much more among Luos. I don't know why life and everything uh, is universed within the funeral. It is in the funeral that everything is centered, that everything is being talked about. Even though the guest of honor or the guests of honor are the immediate family, so it was happening within their home, but it would give a lot of respect if you come from Kasipul is a bit far. Oyugis, when you're going to Bondo, there are two ways. You either use a boat and reach at the place called Usenge, or Uyoma. Then from Uyoma you take a vehicle, or you can go round from Oyugi all the way to Koru, Kisumu. But it is always good. We saw even during the funeral of Raila, we had more important people than an MP who has not even had his first salary. We had the people who, if they were to produce their parliamentary pay slips, you'd cook getheri on it. But these people during Raila's burial, they came earlier than Raila. They came earlier and looked for out. This thing of coming when everybody else has come and you're coming in the last person. Hii uheshimiwa, yani imekuingia mbaya namna gani? Imekuingia namna gani? And then I was looking at the way he was reacting. If he was enjoying it, That was the wrong time. We have people who like crowd cheering them and whatever. I don't think you love being cheered on like Babu Owino. I don't think you have even got a percentage of supporters that Babu Owino has. But you see how humble Babu Owino came early, stayed early, and even when Raila's daughter introduced him, he humbly he humbly respected the occasion and waved back in a very dignified way. I don't know. I always think that a victim, when they say experience is the best teacher, this mobocracy, if I may call it so, have costed Boyd Were's father his life. Even up to today, his death has not been solved. We would have expected him to behave in a gentleman. Look at the people who were elected with him. Wamudende. Look at David Dakwa. The definition of gentleman, if there was any. So I think if I were to talk to my son Boyd Were, because the father was younger than me, if I were to talk to my son Boyd Were, leave this politics of thuggerism, leave this politics of Panyako and Malulu Injendi. That's all. Sina ingine. Barikiwe.